Welcome back. This is awesome. This is video number 2 of telling the story of American history and how to memorize it. Oh, and I love American history. I love it. Today I'm in my Teddy Roosevelt t-shirt. Roosevelt. Roosevelt, his name was actually Roosevelt. He was the 26th U.S. president. American history. If you haven't watched part 1 in this series, there's a link down below in the description of part 1. What we're doing in partnership with my friend Brian McMahon, who is a graphic artist and does cartoons, we are telling the story of American history by using cartoons. And this is so awesome. People always ask me, how do you memorize history? And as I said in video 1, number 1, you make it like a story, like you're reading the script to a movie. Make it fun. And then number 2, use pictures and imagery to represent important details. That's exactly what Brian is doing in these cartoons. And in these videos, a buffalo is the narrator. This video is going to be primarily about Columbus's visit to the New World in 1492. Check this video out, and when it's over, I'll be back and we'll talk about what we learned.
There is historical evidence that the Americas were visited by such people as the Vikings, the Egyptians, and even extraterrestrials. But it wasn't until the 15th century that the old world was ready to come looking for the new world. For centuries, people had no way of preserving food other than salting it, which doesn't make it taste very good. The Middle East, on the other hand, had a variety of spices. They had cinnamon from Ceylon, pepper from India, and cloves and nutmeg from the Moluccan Islands, not to mention the gold in the Middle East. Back then, the world was so unknown, most people considered the earth to be flat. And if you sailed too far, you'd sail right off the edge. However, Europe was stepping out of the Dark Ages, wars were ending, and people began to believe more in the arts and sciences. The land routes to the east back then was through modern-day Turkey, but when the Turkish Empire conquered Constantinople in 1453, the overland supply routes were closed. By 1488, they discovered a sea route. They would first set sail from Europe, around the tip of Africa, and on to the east. And then go ahead and turn around and sail all the way back. The big problem there was that it took a very long time. Meanwhile, other explorers who knew the Earth was a sphere were thinking about reaching the east by sailing all the way west, across the Atlantic. One of them was named Christopher Columbus. In addition to being a map maker, Columbus was a first-class sailor. Columbus went seeking ships and money for his mission to the west from England, France, and Portugal. They all rejected his idea. Then finally in 1492, Queen Isabella of Spain approved the mission and Columbus was on his way. The voyage was a grueling 5 weeks longer than expected. Some of Columbus's crew had lost hope of finding land and were talking of mutiny. But then on October 12th, 1492, they found land. It was an island in the Bahamas he called San Salvador. In the coming months, Columbus sailed next to Cuba and on to present-day Dominican Republic and Haiti. Columbus went on back to Spain, but left some of his men behind to hold down the fort in the New World. Eventually, there were more ships and more men who became too grabby with the local gold and the local women.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Fighting ensued. Columbus then divided up the land and enslaved the natives, thousands of whom had died. The next two visits also failed to produce the riches he had hoped for, and by the time he died, he was largely considered a failure. A failure who got his very own day in history. Never did have my own day in history.
Dude, that was awesome. I love these videos. I loved how he drew everybody thought the world was flat and he has the ships just falling off.
Sail too far, you'd sail right on.
That imagery really sinks it in your head. People really thought it was flat. And he does the map, and he has the guard saying detour. You know, I loved that. So you can't go through Turkey anymore.
Land routes to the east back then was through modern day Turkey. But when the Turkish Empire conquered Constantinople in 1453, the overland supply routes were closed.
And he gave you the purposes, the reasons why Columbus wanted to go to the New World with the spices and the trade. So this was really a cool video. I love the stamping of the orale. Is that how you say it?
Then finally in 1492, Queen Isabella of Spain approved the mission and Columbus was on his way.
The imagery of the explosion whenever there was fighting between the natives and Columbus's crew.
Fighting ensued.
So remember, if you want to memorize American history or U.S. history or any history, all you need to do is turn the data into pictures and make it a story. We're part of an 8-part series here to memorize history, and we're memorizing U.S. history. Brian McMahon is the creator of these videos. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment below with what you liked most about this video. By the way, as always, I have a link down below of a free gift. Click on that link. It's the next step in building your memory. You're going to want to do that. And then finally, if you haven't watched video 1, the link is down below for video 1 in this series. But you're going to watch them all. We're going to have 8 videos. We're going to tell the story of American history all the way from 1400 years ago to the Revolutionary War.